39. Drunk at Disorderlies 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 39. 39. 39. 39. 39. Drunk at Disorderlies. All right. Hey. Well, hey guys. Thank you so much. Welcome to another episode of 39 Drunk and Disorderlies.
Woo!
Oh yeah. You
To
can cheer. Okay.
welcome to the silent episode. This is the silent episode.
To silence. I always
We're
thought
gonna get a piano player in soon and go doodly 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 doodly. You know, as we sit here doing nothing for like 45 minutes.
I think this is number 19. Make some noise if you've been to a taping here before. We got some people in the room. All right.
So
all right.
the podcast can
Well,
now.
I fucking hope you'd been here, man.
Healthy smattering. Yeah.
Jabril, why weren't you clapping? You were here. You've been to a taping. There you go.
The podcast can now drink in Canada, which for a drinking podcast is good.
19. This is episode 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are old enough.
Right?
2 more years and we're anal in all states.
As always, we have some celebs in the house.
Yeah.
We got actor Mohammed Junaid and looks like Windy City Knicks in the back of the room right there. Give it up for them. Yeah.
Hey, hey, hey.
And we got a special treat. We got Jade. It's Robertson, right? Jade Robertson from. Oh, here we go. He's like, no, the company. Page to
Do you
picture.
work for the city of Sault Ste. Marie? Are you a sewer worker? All right, because, union guys are pretty cool, but if you're just blowing raccoons out of storm drains with a large vacuum cleaner, my level of respect goes down just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Or maybe up. I guess it depends on how many raccoons you're giving me.
I guess.
Then we're pals for life. He said a healthy amount for those at home who didn't have a mic on him.
Nice. Page to picture, yeah? I did a movie with him. He's a producer. Movie, what would you say your title is? Give him the audience mic. Let's do this right off the top like we do. One more time for Jade Robertson, everyone.
Welcome, sir. Now speak your mind.
Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Oh, shit. You're welcome. You are almost semi-famous right now.
You said you're from...
There are literally dozens of people who might be seeing this.
Oh, yeah. This is a huge shout-out. Your movie is going to get a big spike. The name of the movie that we just worked together was Spandrel, right?
Spandrel, yes. We worked on Spandrel together back in May, June. And
plugging shit right
20-day shoot.
Yeah.
What?
Lars came out, played a mover.
I got in a fight. I got to
into
be
a
in a fight.
Yeah.
It was
You had
great.
a disorderly.
It was actually
Man, I've been in a couple of those on set for sure. That's crazy.
Sault Ste. Marie. One time I was in Sault Ste. Marie, and they had 25-cent drinks across the river in Sault Ste. Marie, U.S.
Was it the back door?
Maybe? I don't know.
With Lars, it's always the back.
The Twin Sues.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome. It's good to see you. We tell crazy
So
drunken
what
stories here.
are you producing / watching Lars butcher next?
Well, I mean, it'd be nice to get Lars in the next. I got this one going called Wildfire right now, which I'm producing and the cinematographer on, which is the most fun job you can have.
Yeah.
As cinematographer, other than maybe being in front of the camera, is being the camera.
Nice.
Not as much stress as directing. Directing, you gotta.
Yeah.
Good call.
Also, speaking of movies, this gentleman, I don't know if he told you on the weekend.
He's pretty cute. He's in a lot of things.
He was in
amazing.
a film where he was acting opposite himself. So he's playing multiple versions of yourself like a rock star. Tell us about that.
Yeah, basically, I called up Tatiana Maslava, and I was like, so how do you do this? Like, how do you play yourself across from me? She didn't respond, though. We're not friends right now. But after I've done this film,
That's
maybe
not true. She
we'll be.
responded. He just doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't go.
Stop stalking me!
Yeah, so I'm basically never going to work with another actor again because acting across from yourself is just way cooler. So
Better. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's.
And as green screens get better, you'll never have to.
Yeah, well, they won't even need actors anymore. They'll just CGI them. But
I win.
But yeah, no, it was interesting just because you had to keep in mind what you were doing with the performance because like you knew as soon as you turned it around, you were gonna have to be responding to that. And you had to be kind of mapped out ahead of time. So we'll see how how the filmmaker does it. Apparently, he's got some magic up his sleeve. He's gonna stitch some frames together. So
What was the name of it?
It's the working title is Dream State
Dream State.
Nice.
or Traits. Or something.
Starring Trevor.
That's actually kind of.
And-
I mean,
and
it's more interesting
Trevor
as
Ketcheson.
dream states, maybe traits or whatever. I like that. That's a good working title
Yeah.
because you know what? He's not liable for shit. He can say whatever. It's Dream Fox, Dream Car, Dreamland,
Or whatever.
Dream World, or whatever. Because what's great about it's great. I love that.
I mean, I didn't sign a contract, so
This is to our
it's all
legal
good,
team.
so-
This is to our legal team, which is absolutely nobody. You see what I mean? We are totally off the hook for any of that, right? If there's any liability here, he doesn't know what's going on. Neither do we. So it's good.
Yeah, Sewer
Safe.
Podcast. Go for it.
so I'm sliding in here after that
Uh,
on yet another Monday
You guys
night
have
where
social
I have.
identities. I don't. They can sue this podcast if they want to. You
Right.
guys.
I'm coming in on the skin of my teeth once again on another Monday night, which I've always been saying is.
You know
so-
what? That's
so
actually kind of the
happy.
point of this podcast. So frankly, the fact that you come in on the skin of your teeth, working like a dog,
I don't
like a
think I
dog.
don't think I've been here.
That's why you.
The
been
first
here.
the first couple of podcasts
Yeah.
because it was a bit of a slump
It
in the
was-
cold season, what have you.
It was fun.
You weren't like playing a bear, slapping fish out of a river in a beer commercial or something. So
Beer and ice cream.
you were allowed to be a little more concerned. But now we see you when you're like 4 Excedrin away from a nervous breakdown. So we're fantastic. It's
Yeah.
all good.
We're getting
Sleep.
it on tape anyway.
Sleepy,
Yeah, man.
Sleepy Trev here. That's
Yeah.
why in the reenactment show, when we reenact this, I think he needs to be rich. I think he needs to be falling
I do
asleep.
sleep a lot, like.
And I want to
Rich.
play Rob fucking Fowler. That's
Rob
what-
fucking Fowler, yeah.
yeah. And he'll
Yeah,
be-
you could probably
he'll be
play
sleep-
Rob
he'll be
fucking Fowler
sleepy
for sure.
rich. So, welcome again to 1830 here down at 9 Clarence Square.
Here we
Always
are,
hosting
downtown
us.
These guys
Toronto.
are fantastic.
Hit us
We
up.
love you guys. I don't know if you can hear us out there, but you're the best. Oh, look, the door open right then and there. Bettina! Welcome back, one of our regulars. She's coming back in the secret door here into our little laboratory.
We got all the regulars. So these episodes obviously sometimes are crazy party stories, a lot of
But Windy City Nick's on his grinder right now.
Windy
Oh.
Nitty 6. I said, what did I just? I just said Windy Nitty 6 is what I said.
That's what his name is when he's here in Toronto.
No, that's what he. This is his grinder account.
All
admin.
right.
Windy Nitty 6. Yeah.
So you so some crazy. We tell some crazy
Looking
stories.
for all kinds of stuff.
We tell some crazy stories. Mainly
Excuse
Bob tells
excuse
some
me.
crazy stories, but we got a little, maybe some more somber news, some different,
Well,
a different speed. You
yeah.
want to address that?
Again, as an Irish Scot, I'm going to start off with a joke because that's just the way it goes. If the government of Canada can make up random holidays and give them names whenever they want to, I can too. So today is Family Day, and I don't give a fuck what your MP says about it. So we're going to talk about family today, and I want to talk about the dichotomy of being a young person and being an old person, and the differences you have. And when I say old person, I'm talking to you millennials who have absolutely no clue what I'm saying. See, someday you will look at your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, and realize that all the stupid, ridiculous, mentally challenged shit that you are doing right now, they have done before you. In fact, nothing that you have ever done is unique or special because someone else has done it probably worse than you. So we talk about these stories. I give a lot of them, about my drunkenness and drug addictness and, fightiness and yada, yada. What makes me unique in that story is that I am actually 7 feet tall and I do weigh 393 pounds. If you're sitting at home thinking, I am the next wrestling superstar, and you look in the mirror and you are not me, there's a very good chance that what you are is a small man who has watched too much wrestling, okay? That's just a thing. Like, I am not an astronaut. There is no space capsule on Earth that could fit this ass into, and I recognize it. Regardless of my intellectual capacities, I am not a fucking astronaut. I am not going to be the president of the United States. It's just not going to happen, okay?
We'll figure it out.
No, but here's the issue. We are raised to believe that we are all the shining star of tomorrow's future, and that is simply because people have absolutely no concept of history. That's it. That's it. If you think you are unique, you have just not read enough books.
I thought we were talking about family.
We are, and that's where I'm getting with this. Okay. Now, I don't know if our home audience or whatever knows this, but I'm adopted. Okay, and I was adopted into a very interesting family situation. Now, here in Canada, in my immediate direct family, it's actually quite simple. It's not that particularly difficult to understand. My dad was stationed here during Vietnam, by which I mean he decided not to die for American political imperial expansionism. So he came here and met my mother. And that's a fun story about a man standing in a window naked and two young women looking up and being like, hey, look at that guy, and then meeting him later. We'll get into that some other time. But they decided, because she was injured as a child in a tobogganing accident, how Canadian is that? She couldn't have children because of a tobogganing accident, a very serious one. You know, toboggans, watch out. Shit's dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyway, they decided to adopt, and they adopted me. And what's weird about this, and I'm not overly spiritual or zealotous or what have you, but my mom had dreams. And she told me about this before she died. Dreams about this little blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy that was, you know, looking up to her and talking to her and, you know, little baby speak, you know, like, Muna Nakai, mommy, that kind of thing, right? So they go to the foster home, and they walk in, and foster mother brings me down. And sure enough, there I am. Blonde hair, blue eyes. My mom grabs my dad's arm so hard she bruised him and whispers in his ear. She goes, it's him. And my dad's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Because, you know, every morning she wakes up, I had a dream about something, right? And he's like, yeah, that's fantastic. I have to go to work now. We'll talk about these dreams, whatever, later. So he's like, what do you mean it's him? She's like, it's the little kid I've been seeing in my dreams. It's a little blonde-haired kid. So Dad grabs me from the foster mother, and he's holding me, right? And he has this big, dirty beard, which he denied until I was like a teenager, and I found pictures and was like, yeah, you want to comment on my hair? Photo evidence of you, pal. So anyway, he's holding me there, and I reach for and grab his beard. I'm looking him seriously in the eye like, you know, you ain't choosing me. I'm choosing you. You know. And that's kind of been the relationship that me and the universe have had since then. I'm like, no, I'm not the one you picked. I'm the one that picked you. I'm going to do this, and we're going to see how it goes, right? And so what this ties into is the very first time I went to Pittsburgh to see my grandmother. My dad and my mom flew down there just like 6 weeks after they'd adopted me and brought this little baby into a household, very strict religious rules and all kinds of, you know, human personality traits that just exist in every family, right? Just differentiations. And there was nothing there but love. Nothing there but love. For a kid who knows where I came from? Nobody fucking knows. I don't fucking know, and I don't care. I've never looked. I've never thought about it. I've had such a loving family experience that I don't want anything to do with it. That's just more drama than anyone could ever have, right? I don't need it.
You were a huge baby. They were afraid of you. That's what happened.
Well, that was it, too. Totally. I just overturned the car and, like, snapped a few limbs. But
you were like, okay, baby.
So, as most of you at home don't probably know, of course you can't possibly know, I just came back this week from my grandmother's funeral. She was 95, and she died last week. And one of the pictures on the big, you know, painting of her and her life, sort of, you know, the memorial photographs and stuff, was of her holding a small child and with a little bottle in his mouth. I didn't know who it was. And at the funeral, I asked my dad, I'm like, which one of the cousins is that? Is that my cousin Emily? And he's like, no, that's you. That's me. And it dawned on me right then and there that there's a lot about life and family that we just don't know. And more than that, we choose not to know, right? And when we're young, we have no choice because we don't understand these things. We just can't. We can't figure it out. And as we get older, we start to fall into the human realities, right, of our lives. And the reason this associates with the drunken disorderly content of the show is that literally my experimental nature and the reason I partied so fucking hard, like suicidally hard, was because I was terrified of disappointing the man who had chose me out of a group of whatever to be a son in this kind of family. A family with that much love and acceptance, right? I could have been nowhere. I mean, I could have been totally fucked, like a lot of people are. And I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And it's not until you start to realize that you're losing pieces of that heritage and part of that history, and that's an adult recognition, that you realize, you know, I partied so hard to forget the pain that I thought I was experiencing as a youth, and I almost missed the reality of what I actually have. You know? So every time I go, and I've been down to my and this is the sad part, the last 2 times I want to say my grandparents' place, but they're both dead, so it's my uncle's place now. The last 2 times I've been there was for funerals. You know? I don't drive, and I live, you know, it's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I live 5.5 hours. With traffic, it's like 8.5 hours away. So, and most of that traffic, by the way, is from here to Hamilton. So, you know, the hammer can just go suck a bag of dicks, you fucks. Like, get off the road. Anyway.
This episode brought to you by Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly. Tie cats, what? One of my art teachers was a tie cat. And that should tell you how good they are. You know, if a retired tie cat becomes an illustration teacher, yeah. Just give up on that football shit, okay, guys? Anyway, so Tuesday, my grandmother passed away, and my dad was going to go by himself. He was going to drive down there. And we lived together and worked together, and our adult relationship was actually pretty amazing. Although during the teenage years, as everyone knows, right? You know, when you're a teenager, your mom or dad says, you know, under my roof, under my rules. My dad said that. Yeah. And you know what I said? Good point. And I walked the fuck out. That was it. Like a week later, I was living on my own, right? Because that made fucking sense. Damn right, it's your house. Yeah, you can choose these things. I ain't living there. Why? Because I want to get laid, and you're going to complain, and I don't want to hear it. So, you know, off I went. But he's going to go by himself, and he's like, so I'm leaving Thursday morning. I'm like, you're leaving Thursday morning? And I sort of throw my passport at him. I'm like, we're leaving Thursday morning? I'm like, you're not going by yourself. Are you kidding? We're going to go. He's like, you want to come? I'm like, no. No one wants to go to a fucking funeral. It's not one of those things you get called on the phone. Hey, you've won the fun-filled weekend at a fucking funeral. And you're like, woohoo! Let's bury grandma! Yeah! That's not how it goes. But, of course I'm going to fucking go. You kidding me? It's a family fucking moment. And more importantly, me and my dad, now that we're close, I know it's important to him to have someone there, right? And I think that's what I'm trying to say about this whole fucking family thing, this whole issue I'm talking about. It's people being there for each other. You know, no matter how difficult your family history is, no matter what the diversity of their struggles and problems and, you know, internal conflicts are, you need to have some fundamental understanding and love for each other in order to survive this world, because it's just not that cool. Life is just not that easy. We've all had these fucking moments where something terrible has happened. And who's there? And who should be there? And I think it's something important to think about, you know? And I know it's kind of a somber mood. Normally these are a little more upbeat. And I don't mean to do that. But at the same time, I think it's really important. Especially because, like I said, fucking, we're losing track of that. People in general losing fucking track of that. And that scares me. Because we don't have that kind of human empathy for one another, don't understand that, everyone's human and we all fuck up and it's all screwed up and we're all just trying to live through this together. What is there? Why laugh? Why go on? Why care? What difference does it make? If there's nothing better, if there's no love, if there's no hope, if there's nobody to hold your hand, if there's nobody to fucking hand you a tissue and you're crying at a fucking funeral, who are you? Who are we all? Right?
These are valid questions.
Those are good questions.
Exploring the deeper roots. That's what we do here.
So now I'm going to tell a fun story about my grandmother because she's awesome. Before I do that, though.
What was her name? We're going to do a toast, yeah.
Yeah. Her name was Patricia. And she was an Irish woman, an orphan. Her dad did the classic drink himself to death in the alleyway. And her mom had rheumatoid arthritis in both her legs and couldn't work or do anything, so she became a welfare case. And in the 20s, that was just not a thing. Like, you weren't a person if you were broke and Irish. Mm-hmm. Like, you just didn't exist, So my grandmother and her sister were put into an orphanage when her mom died. And the Roman Catholic Church put a funeral on for her mother because that's one of the sacraments. They're guaranteed that. Like, you'll get a funeral. But nobody came because,
Irish.
Poor Irish. Yeah, no money, no standing. So the two siblings ran away from the steps of the funeral, my grandmother and her sister, because they couldn't just sit there, with the debody in the room. They didn't want to deal with that shit. So they ran off. Nobody came. But anyway, you get into an orphanage, and when you're 18, they give you the boot. And either you join the convent or they put you to work. So they were basically indentured off to wealthy families as domestic labor. So she spent many years as a domestic laborer with this family, just basically living as basically a house slave, house servant with no respect or whatever. Just like, yeah, you're black Irish, like, fuck it. Like, here you go. Mop the fucking floors and don't ask too many questions. But she became a dance instructor and started earning her own money. It's like during the rolling 30s and shit. Like, she was getting it done. She had a punk rock hairdo before that was even a thing. I saw some old pictures. I was like, oh, Grammy, that's amazing. Like, short on the sides, bobbed on the top. I was like, what? Right on.
Punk rock grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah, hear that,
awesome.
animators?
So here's the story I wanted to tell you. So she was going to the prom, and she was casually seeing two men. They found out about it, decided they were going to have this big fist fight to see who was going to the prom with Grandma, right? This is long before she was Grandma. This is when she was Mama. So she finds out about these guys wanting to beat the shit out of each other, and she's like, nah, you fucking tars. This ain't happening. I'll take you both to the prom. You both get a slow dance, and that's all you're fucking getting. And then you can drive me home, and if you guys want to, beat each other up or have a little bit of a hand job, whatever, that's your business. But that's it. There's not going to be any violence over this. I'm beautiful enough for both of you. So go fuck yourself. Awesome. That's Grandma. You know what I mean? That's the story I wanted to tell people to end this off. I just want to say, yeah, that woman, she fucking was the rock of my family. She kept it together. And I have nothing but respect for a woman that lived 95 fucking years. It's all the shit in between then and now. Lived through it, and was never nothing more than a fucking sweetheart to everybody. Like, at the funeral, at the service, people I've never fucking met them. It's Pittsburgh, fucking Pennsylvania. I've never lived there. Strangers walking up to me, they're going, when my son was suicidal and having serious problems, your grandma called. She talked to him. Now he's got 3 kids. He's got a fucking job. He's doing okay. I don't know what she said, but she fucking straightened him out. This is dozens of stories like this from total fucking strangers. I just stood there in awe. I'm like, well, I know she was always the biggest sweetheart I've ever known, but it's just awe. I'm in awe of the woman. So we're going to do two things before we end. One, I'm going to read you an Irish prayer. Comes straight off the funeral pamphlets because I thought it was touching. And two, I'm going to do a shot of Irish whiskey. And all you at home, I'm going to give you the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To reach for the bottle I hope is sitting next to you. And do a shot with me. All right. An Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Amen. Drink up.
Trisha.
God bless.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for bearing with me.
Well, I think you said it too when you said 95 is, what a accomplishment that is. And that could be an answer right there to some of the questions about the whys and the whys and the whys. And then you look at a testament of someone who stood the stand of time, and they just found a way to answer those questions every day. And like both my grandparents on my dad's side were in the mid to late 90s. My grandpa was 98. That's just that when you realize, you really look at them a different way after they pass, and you go, wow, they really slugged it out, especially during those times.
And how much of the world have they seen that you and I just have no clue? Yeah. Like, I'm 37 years old. What the fuck do I know? 95. That's a little ways off from 37. So what the fuck do I know? You know what I know? I know that I'm a half-decent writer. I can laugh a little bit. And I look damn good on TV.
Hear that, HBO?
What's crazy, too, about that generation is they probably lived through the most change. To go from, horse and buggy, zero tech, to, cars, radios,
nuclear power,
nuclear,
space
robots,
age,
space, all of Wi-Fi, all of that. It's insane. I had a great aunt who lived to be 97. When she was 17, 18, immigrated to New York City through Staten Island, classic Gangs of New York kind of era. Not quite as early as Gangs of New York, but close. And she remembers going to school, leaving the house, and her New York townhouse that they were living in, which was same thing, 11 people in 11 family members all in a 1 or 2 room thing, way too many people and that should be there. She left, and it was oil lanterns, went to school and came back, and there was electric lights. So she lived through that.
Yeah.
She witnessed the dawn of electricity. That's fucking crazy.
I guess it's also one of the things that makes you think, right? You think about it. In the last 200 years, we have gone from candlelight to nuclear power and beyond. I mean, that's not just an accomplishment. That is basically a miracle. I mean, that is unheard of. We have 350,000 years of human evolution, and in the last 200, we've gone from the same technology the Romans were using to bring their corn home to flying to the moon and standing there chipping golf balls. I mean, this is something that has to be recognized. We as a civilization have stood on the shoulders. I was actually talking to my cabbie Chowdhury today about this. Actually, he's a great guy. He's a good guy. We were talking about. He's like, I have kids, and he's like, I'm not much of a historian, but Mr. Bob, you seem like a historian. And I'm like, oh fuck no, please don't do that. This is not true. I just read, okay? And the most important thing that you can do for your kids is tell them to read and to disseminate the knowledge of history.
Listen to podcasts, kids.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts.
That's right.
Way more efficient.
The only thing you'll ever need to know, Bob will tell you.
Apparently listening to podcasts and doing
podcasts.
things is good. So you can read and listen to the podcast.
But that's what immortality is, right? It's the ability to pass the information we have now down from generation to generation. So that's what the internet is. I mean, that's the ultimate example. It's the penultimate form of that exact representation. It's not just an encyclopedia. It's every encyclopedia. It's the sum total of human knowledge in the palm of your hand. Now, what we need to teach people is history and philosophy, because the knowledge is there. What history does is give you respect for what we've done in the past. And what philosophy does is give you respect for why we shouldn't make those fucking mistakes again. Or why we shouldn't make new fucking mistakes again that are pretty obvious. Like, oh, wait a second, we have genetic technology. Jurassic Park, I love it. Great example, right? Ian Malcolm says, you stand, and copyright notwithstanding, Warner Brothers, 1991. Anyway,
Lawyers, if you mumble something under your breath, it's legal. We figured it out. There you go. Got it.
He says, right, we stand on the shoulders of giants, but we haven't earned it. We don't deserve it. We didn't earn, we don't have any respect for it. We have no responsibility over it. We've just done it because we can. It's okay, we can do it, so we're doing it. And that's where history and philosophy come in, right?
Just to make sure it was written Richard Attenborough, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right? If someone said, perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just to cover our tracks, yeah.
Awesome disclaimer. Thank you, Trevor.
Richard Attenborough said that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Or David Duchovny, who knows?
Who
Could have
knows?
been anybody.
Could be anybody.
Could have been anybody. I could have made it up myself because I'm just that fucking wise. No, but the point is this. We know where we're going and how we're getting there. We're just refusing to admit it. Like we are tripping and staggering like a broken-legged horse over the end of the back nine, hoping for the best. And the truth is we know where we're going.
Mars. We're going to Mars.
Oh,
baby. It's
something's
happening.
going to Mars. You're damn right. I actually want to go to Mars. That'll be a lot of fun.
So does my brother. My brother wants to sign up.
It's a
and
one-way
maybe
trip,
guys.
so
Well,
yeah.
I don't want to go on the first 3 trips
Right.
because the first 3 are all suicide missions. Like the first one for sure
Yeah,
is
those are-
they're going to get there and we're going to watch them die live on CNN.
and we're gonna see how they died
That's a fucking
and
fact.
learn. Yeah.
It's going to be like a reality show. How long can he not breathe in that suit? Did he grow potatoes? Not this time. Like we've all read The Martian, right? We know
Yeah.
this.
It
We've
worked
seen
out.
it. Man, I'm
It worked
breaking a
out for
lot of
Matt Damon.
copyrights today. I'm really sorry. You know what? I'm just yes.
Yeah.
I'm just quoting. Thank you, Batman. Robin, you getting this?
I think if I was on a Mars mission, I
No,
would
he's
just bring the DVD to The Martian, and I would just watch it over and over again to train.
On the way, and like on the way, you're like shit.
Yeah.
As you get to the end of the movie, you're like, damn.
Shit, I don't have any potatoes.
Our lovely host, Rocky, is here.
Oh, yeah?
Say hello to the people, Rocky.
What up, what up?
Hey, hello. Good to see you again, Palio. Thank you once again for another
Yeah.
wonderful night here at Bar 1830.
Shout him out. Hit him up on Instagram, too.
Yeah,
at
100%.
1830. You got to spell 18, then 30, then T-O. It's 1830 T-O. Karim will link that up.
Absolutely.
Technology.
And once again, guys, I know it's a little harder than most episodes have been, a little bit darker, but you know what? That's what the show's all about. It's the ups, it's the downs, it's the reels, not fucking feels. Okay? I'm not going to tell you how it is. I'm going to ask you to experience it with me. And, believe what you want.
We do the light and the dark.
Exactly. If it's
Even
not
though,
laugh,
even though it's about kind of dark stuff in the
if it's
first
not,
place.
well, no, the thing is, dark stuff, it's not really. You know it's not true.
Well, a lot of stuff happens at night, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, but darkness does not. Thank you, Trevor. Could you please eat that glass?
Eat it.
Eat it. I mean, might as well do something, man.
What else? Anything else we want to talk about?
Actually, what I want to
go to
do,
the
what I
audience
want to do
here?
is I want to hold the audience mic out. I'd like to ask a question of anybody in the room.
Oh,
Just a
ask the
quick
question.
one. I know Windy City Nick's probably got a story because that's usually the way it is. But I want to know if anyone in the room has a family story, and I don't mean like I don't need to hear like, we were Sumerian refugees and we came over during Christ's last reunion. No, a personal family story about the differentiation between youth and adulthood. Like the first time you sat with your uncles and had a beer, and they're like, would you like to shoot this gun? Because you're like 15 years old. You can do that now. And I was like, yeah, fucking right, I'd like to. My dad's like, fuck that, put that shit away. You give Bob guns, this is all over. And I'm like, what? Windy City Nick.
Yeah, as always.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, I can do that because I just had a conversation with my uncle, probably, kind of like,
What's his name?
Bo.
Uncle Bo.
Oh.
Shout out to Uncle Bo. From
and,
where? Chicago?
Vancouver.
Oh, that's disappointing.
It's funny because I had a conversation with him, and I actually had a really lovely conversation because when I was a kid, I always thought he was a bit odd. And I was like, I never really wanted to hang around him because he was just a bit of an odd dude. Because as a kid, I just couldn't differentiate. I was like, who is this guy? Then as I got older, my parents actually told me the story of, or my mother told me the story of her father, how he was a real hard ass. And my uncle really wanted to play the drums, and he's like, you want to play the drums? You're not going to fucking play the drums. That's not a career. And just like belittled him, and then he just started like, sort of like what you did, rebelling a little bit and like not wanting to do that and sort of.
I didn't rebel. I exploded.
I guess, yeah,
It
similar.
wasn't my dad didn't say I couldn't do anything. What he said was, you can't do it here.
Right.
And what I said was, okay, I'll do it right over there. Like a hippie jam band in your backyard.
Did you just move across the street
I
from
guess-
your dad?
I moved I moved 3.5 blocks away.
That's great.
And for the first year and a half, I raided his fridge every day. He came home and caught me making chicken in his kitchen. And he was like, didn't you move out? I'm like, yeah, but you're like no frills, only cheaper. I'm like, you can really beat any price. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's all free here. And he was like, get the fuck out. And I was like, nope, I'm making chicken. And then he's like, how much chicken? I'm like, you want some chicken? And he was like, it smells pretty good. And I was like, done, I'm staying. And yeah, anyway.
But yeah,
When is he next?
legitimately, I've actually never met one of my uncles, but the other two uncles, always found them a little. The one was a little odd. The other one was a bit intense.
You've hung out with yourself before, right? Because those are two words that I might use to describe you.
Odd and intense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you found your tribe in your own uncles.
The apple
yeah.
falls out of the tree, lands in the trough, and replenishes the
Well,
orchard.
dude, like legitimately, when you were talking about how much we've advanced, I had a mini like panic attack, just thinking like, holy fuck, we have advanced. Why didn't they do that shit back? Like, so yeah, I am odd and intense. But literally, I always found I just never wanted to be around them, and I was like, it's a bit weird. But the older I got, I was like, oh, that's why you are who you are. And as an adult, I was able to like, now I can have an actual conversation with these guys. And
You saw yourself in them, and then now you connect because you see yourself in them.
because I'm odd and intense.
For those of you at home, I just realized there's a camera pointing directly at me. Yes, I did just fly suck and spit a fruit fly out of the air.
Oh, wow.
I apologize if that weirds you out, but I had to get it away from my face. I thought maybe this. Never mind.
What happened? Explain it.
Yeah, this one is
This
right.
Camera, it's great.
The
Though.
one I'm looking directly at. Well, I
It's
did.
great. That's the teaser
No, a
for
fly
the whole
suck. There's a
show.
small fly. It was flying around right in front of my nose and a microphone, and I just went, and then spat it over there, and then realized I'm staring into a camera while I did it. So, sorry, guys. That's a little bit.
Don't
wrong.
apologize.
Second
But yeah.
spit? What'd you call it?
Don't apologize.
No,
Your
it was
grandma
a-
brings 2 dates to the prom. You can do whatever you want.
I can suck all the flies that I need to.
I will end this by saying when you were talking about how we don't have appreciation sometimes for like what we have, like this technology, all this shit. I took 5 pictures right by Queen Station of about 19 people not looking up from their phones, and I'm like, it's insane. Like they take it for granted. They're like this thing. I'm like, there's you look up, but I'd never seen so many people with their faces down in the same block radius. I was like, this is creepy.
From a safety point of view, I can tell you I have saved more than 9 people from dying on public transit because of their phones. And literally, I'm just standing on the subway platform, and some girl comes walking by texting, and she's walking out in front of the train, and has no idea she's 2 feet away from the platform edge. Her foot goes out over open space, and I grab the hoodie of her jacket and just like, come here, and then ding, ding, train goes by. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Hey, this multitasking thing, it's not what you think it is, you know. Well, no, though you can do I guarantee almost anyone can multitask. You can text and get killed by a train at the same time. That I guarantee you can do. I've seen it. It's not that hard. You want to walk out into traffic, talking on your phone, and get run over by a Mack truck. That is a multitask you can definitely do. I watched a guy almost walk into an elevator shaft because he was checking his Google Maps.
That's great.
Okay. The elevator door's open. There's no elevator. And he's looking at his phone and just like, walks forward. Again, I reached out, grabbed the back of his jacket. He's like, what are you touching me for? I'm like, I don't know. And I gave him kind of a shove forward, just a little touch. He goes, takes a half step, looks forward, sees this open elevator, and goes, holy shit, save my life. You know, like, what the fuck? Someone help me. And I'm like, I just did, pal. Like, that's the whole fucking point.
What do you think is your death versus life saved plus minus over the course of your life?
Death, 0 that can be proved in any court of law.
Okay, perfect. No deaths. How many lives saved?
Saved lives.
Ballpark. Or saved catastrophes. I mean, I know that
dozens.
You can't be sure that they would have all died.
Dozens. I mean, I can tell you right now, at least 20 people by my own hands, like resuscitated, not let to bleed to death, defended against mortal injury, dozens. To be honest, because I'm a local hero and celebrity, the number of
trademark
fact,
the number of people that through my actions have not succumbed to harm or injury, virtually incalculable. I mean, that's what local heroics are all about, right? Like, give me the key to the city. Like, I'm here, I'm right waiting. Gave him to Drake, and all he did was fuck everyone up. So
we're working on it.
I can also say with the same thing with the texting and people looking down being morons. Today, I almost got doored by a guy because he was looking at his phone and opened the door, but it's like sort of like this, and I was like, it's just in.
But are you a cyclist?
I am.
That's what happens to you people.
True, but I was just amazed by
You're
how
in
many
a helmet.
people aren't looking.
I'm in a van. I win.
Yeah. I'm also.
This is not Amsterdam, okay? Look, the cycle culture in Toronto pisses me off. Thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. Fuck. The cycle culture in Toronto really pisses me off, and the reason it does is, first of all, the cycle culture here is like, what, 4 months of the year? It's Canada, right? We've spent tens of millions of dollars building bicycle lanes on streets that are only open a third of the year. My favorite is the Woodbine bike lanes. This is a hill that is like 12 degrees away from 45, okay? Nobody rides their bicycle up this hill unless they're looking for a medal, okay? Every other person looks at a map and goes, fuck that. I'll take Dundas over to Girard, then I'll go a little bit higher up on there. I'll just bypass that whole shit, 'cause it's crazy. No. Only guys wearing spacesuits made out of neoprene with those fucking bullet helmets on, you know, and they're like $4,000 bike shoes that attach to the pedals, you know what I mean, are going up Woodbine ever. And we've turned a 4-lane street into a 2-lane street that is only active 3 months of the year. Fuck you. That is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Ridiculous. We are not Amsterdam. Wake up, people. It's just not true. There are so many bike lanes already in the city, and they're looking to put in more. Where? For what? And the lies they'll tell about it. My favorite, the Bloor, the lies. So every business owner on Bloor is like, wait a second, this is fucking us up. Like, no one can park here. No one can get anything. The cars just driving by, and there's like 7 bicycles an hour that go by, and they're all going to Bay Street to not be here because they're, virtue signaling and not actually riding bikes for any reason, and we're all going out of business. And they tell the city's like, no. See, we had an independent study that came in and put a laser grid on it, and it showed that like 55, million people were riding their bikes down Bloor Street. And someone was like, well, what the hell are you counting? Like squirrels? Like what the fuck is going on? You saw rotations of wheels down Bloor Street? Is that what you're counting? Because the actual, I stood on the corner. I'm sure we all have at Bathurst and Bloor, or fucking Bay and Bloor, Young and Bloor. If you stood there and looked at the bike lane, just stood there for 10 minutes, you'll see a guy go by. Eat a hot dog, have a few coffees, smoke some cigarettes. Another guy goes by. Right? Meanwhile, in this time, 4,000 cabs, 10 million trucks, 300,000 pickup trucks, are all just jammed in the intersection trying to avoid the lane where that one guy every 45 minutes might go by for an ice cream cone. Or because he lives nearby and it's easy to pick up his mail. I just don't see it. If you want to...
You hear that, Toronto government? Bob's anti-bike lane.
No, I'm not anti-bike lane. We have enough bike lanes. Use them.
Oh, there you
Buck out of the way of traffic. That's you, cyclists. You know who you are.
Nice.
And if you get doored, hey, man, like I said, I'm in a van. You're in a helmet. I win. Life's a bitch. Deal with it.
We have other family stuff.
Yeah, if you're riding your bike as a family, double for you. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Audience mic. Oh, who we got here? Announce yourself.
This is Jim Carrey coming to you live from the 1830.
For real, this is
Not
Jim
in
Carrey.
Newmarket today.
But maybe tomorrow?
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
No, probably not. Going to see my boys from Newmarket tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Anyway, speaking of family,
Yes.
I'm an older dad. My kids are in their 20s. And
I can see that by the high gloss.
yes, thank you. Thank you. Let's take your hat off and see if we can see. Not quite so much, but yeah, you got a forehead anyway. The point is,
Sorry, you were saying something.
what's important to kids these days, and what's important as you get older, and thinking back about the history and what we're losing. And so I was thinking about my dad and my mom and my uncle and my aunt and a bunch of people who've passed.
Sure.
And so it does come back to exactly what you say. How do we remember these people? And will they be remembered in future generations? And would I not like to know more about my grandparents, who I know very little about? So it's just a reflection that I've had. I was going through a bunch of pictures, and I saw some pictures of my dad and two of my uncles back probably 30 years ago. And the three of them were doing this see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil.
Right.
Funny picture. And I was thinking, where the hell was that? What was going on, and why were they just clowning around? Anyway, just a thought. Question and a wonder for young people. When you get older, well, think about it now, because when you get older, maybe those people won't be there, and you won't be able to ask them, but you could ask them now.
That's right.
Stories about their parents and stories about your grandmom. And, you can get some of the stories now and know what some of the pictures mean and what some of the shit that happened when you were a baby. Like, I love that picture of you as a baby with your grandma.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just a reflection from someone who's been around a little more than 37 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Your kids are going to get to hear all these stories by listening to the podcast.
Well,
and
it's the
watching
internet.
The
Internet
show.
never dies. I'm
Yeah.
immortal, baby.
Yeah.
What? Oh, and also, just a side note to that, condition. That's how you get this.
Conditioner. This has been our most existential of episodes right now.
Just teasing. Thank you very much for that insight. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. We got anything else in the audience that wants to be discussed?
Anyone else lose anybody? You want to talk about it? Want to talk about your family? You want to talk about your life?
My mom's name is also Patricia, and she's passed away, so we share that in common. You have a grandmother.
Right
and
on,
a
man.
Mother, Patricia. which is
Pacha.
Also Irish as well, too.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I also learned I'm like so noble it hurts. Okay, so
Oh,
my
yeah, share this. Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So on my great-grandfather's side, we're Scottish, and we go back to the Scottish monarchy. But on my great-grandmother's side, she's German, and she was a baronet when the Weimar Republic fell apart after World War I. And what's really awesome about that is because of the connection between the Scottish monarchy, the English monarchy, and the German monarchy, somewhere down the line, I probably have a claim to that one too. So, Boris, if you want to abdicate and just give the country to anybody, you talk to the Queen and say, give Bob a call. I'll become Emperor of Europe. We'll sort all this shit right out real fucking fast.
It's already got a podcast. It just makes sense, you know?
You know what I mean?
Comes with the podcast.
That's right. Carpenter, artist, podcast, emperor. You see what I mean? It fits.
You'd make a good king. You're very imposing.
Regal.
You can lead from the front. You're
Dictatorial.
I feel like you're just as well.
Strict. Understanding but firm.
Wow.
That's good.
Understanding but firm.
Yeah.
Nice. Any final thoughts here? Should we steer this back safely into harbor or what?
We're going to need a bigger boat. Yes, to steer this back into harbor, I'd just like to say, you know what? All you guys who came here live tonight, you guys are solid gold. We love you.
Solid gold.
All y'all at home, once again, I apologize for being a little bit dark this evening, but we love you too. Thank you very much. Bar 1830, you're the best.
Yeah.
Thank
hit
you
us
kindly
up,
for letting us do this crazy shit again. And if Rocky could come wandering back in here, we would point a camera at him and make him lovely. Lovely.
Hit us up at 39DD
But
Show.
yes, come on, check us out. We're everywhere now.
Watch full episodes on YouTube and share this with friends. You should be doing that too.
Also, by all means,
tag your friends.
since these guys are humongous social media buffs, if you have stories and shit you want to share them with them because they'd love to hear it, and I couldn't give a rat's ass. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great night.
Later.
Peace.